Hey, so out on the trail, been hiking for maybe an hour and 15 minutes now. Just got to the end of the short loop and connected onto the long loop of the Wildcat Hollow Trail. Been sweating like crazy because it's humid and almost all uphill up to this point. So just thought I'd show you something cool. Just came across this abandoned schoolhouse, which is something that was posted on the trail. So let me just go ahead and flip you around. Yeah, so this was something that was on the trail maps, basically, of hey, look out for this on your way. I don't know if I'll go in there or not because it looks pretty beaten to crap. The floor is very tall in the center and very small on the other side. So they're very small on the outside and a bunch of holes and stuff in it, but yeah, let me see if I can get it in, get you to see in there. So it's kind of really beaten down, but yep. So yeah, just thought I would show you that, give you an update on the hike so far. Like I said, it's been a little bit over an hour that I've been hiking. Yeah, good times. So it's pretty cool. When I was at the trailhead, I met this guy named Dan. Sorry, I just wanted to get here. I didn't get here until till 3, so I just wanted to get on the trail once I got here. So I didn't start. Wow, there's a bee right next to me. I didn't start filming until this point, about an hour in, and so I met this guy named Dan at the trailhead, and he is a volunteer for the Buckeye Trail. So he volunteers just walking the Buckeye Trail and cleaning it up. I thought that was really cool. He just talked to me. I didn't even know that we had a such thing as a Buckeye Trail in Ohio, but it goes all around the outside of Ohio. So if this right here is Ohio, there's a trail that's all around the outside of it. It's pretty cool. I had no clue that we had that. So just something I thought I'd throw out there in case you guys want to check it out. Alrighty, so it is 4:50. So it's only been about half an hour, 40 minutes since I last checked in, but I've already come across my second landmark, which I just kind of let peek there. It's a old abandoned oil well. So let me get you a closer look at this. So yeah, this is number 2. I've only got one more. I'm looking for an abandoned farmhouse. But this is an old oil well site. Looks like there's a pipe over here that would just pump the oil away off to wherever it was being sent to. There's another pipe over here as well. Looks like that's a little bit newer though. But yeah, that's number 2. I've still yet to find any water on this trip, so this may turn into an overnight if I can't find anything. It looks like, I don't know if you can see off in the distance there, just noticed this. Also just noticed a spider on my finger. There's a like rundown shack back there. That's interesting. There's also another one of those right over this way, and I just ran into another spider web. That is one thing about this trip. The amount of spider webs I've run into is ridiculous. By the time that I wipe one off, I've got another spider web on me. Anyway, here's that other shack. Looks weird in there. Looks like somebody was having fun shooting this sign that says closed to motorbikes and horses. I'll check back in later. Well, unfortunately, I think I found my water source for tonight. When you come this late in the fall, I guess late in the summer, early in the fall, there's really not much in the way of water. And so this is what I'll be drinking from. Hopefully if my filter can do it or not, I don't know. But this is it. We'll see. Hopefully I don't ruin my filter on the first try here. Whew. Good morning. This is the morning of day 1. I slept alright last night. Right now it is about 9:30, so I had my alarm set for 7:30, woke up right at 7:30, the sun is bright, and ended up just not wanting to get up because I fell asleep so late last night. So last night I went to bed around 7:30, 8 o'clock when the sun started to go down, and I laid there until midnight. I went back and forth from just laying there and watching TV shows, but I'd say it was about 50-50. So around midnight I fell asleep, and I didn't really wake up until 7:30. It was glorious. Let's see here. Let me give you a tour of camp. So right there is where I had my bear bag hanging up, which isn't really a bear bag in this part because there's no bears. Here's camp. Right now I've got it in porch mode, as Shug would say. And so it is hanging up so I can get under there real easily. Had a mishap with the tarp last night. Got it all set up, got it all tightened, and then I hear there's a rip, and yeah, I was using this as my pull-out. That stunk. I had to figure out how to rig it a different way with coverage because it was supposed to rain last night. Luckily it didn't rain, but yeah, I was kind of worried. So let's see. Got this guy, which is a SOL emergency blanket, 2-person. Survive Outdoors Longer emergency blanket, or Adventure Medical Kit. I don't know which one the brand is. They're called both. So basically I used this as my underquilt last night, and it kept me really warm. I was nice and toasty the whole time. The only thing that stunk is I woke up and my entire back was covered in condensation, like completely wet. Because this is just, it's not a breathable fabric. I think they use they use that emergency blanket stuff that's really loud and crinkly, and they infuse it with sil nylon, so it's not as crinkly and it holds up better. But it doesn't breathe still. So that's why this shirt is up here. It's kind of trying to get it to dry out before the hike today. But yeah, all in all, it wasn't a bad night last night. So I still haven't been able to find water, but you know, I'm thinking I might cut the trip short and head back today instead of completing the whole loop. I don't want to risk not having water, and I'm almost out of what I brought in. So I really don't want to risk that. So I might just call it, which really stinks, but it's what you gotta do. that took a little bit longer than it normally would to complete. As you saw, I had to put my snake skins onto the hammock. Normally they'd be on there already, but I was trying to decide if I wanted the hammock in the snake skins or if I wanted the tarp in the snake skins, and I tried the tarp last night and I just didn't like it. So I switched it over to the hammock and made it take a little bit longer, but it's going to be worth it in the long run. Well, it is 10:45 and I am just now done packing up the campsite. It's a bottle of off that I'm leaving because it's leaking, so I figure somebody can use that when they come to use this site. Yeah, that was real fun. I opened up my food bag and it was wet. I'm like, what the heck? Why is it wet? It shouldn't be wet, you know. I had some cheese in there. Maybe that condensated or something. I'm not sure, but opened it up and it was sticky too. Turns out my off bottle was leaking right onto my food bag. So luckily I had excuse me, everything in my food bag was sealed in plastic baggies as well, so nothing really got destroyed. It still was not a fun surprise though. Now I have to replace that food bag because the off destroyed the seam sealant, so that'll be lots of fun. But anyway, like I said, it is 10:45. There's a spider on me already, and I just walked into another web. Time to start this again. That was awful yesterday. Hopefully it's a little bit better today. Yeah, yesterday I walked through so many spider webs, and now I'm walking back the exact same path. So most likely more spider webs are in my future as I pull them off from my face. Yeah, I'll check back in later. And this part of the trail is thick. It was really cool right before I pulled the camera out. Tried to get it out to capture this, but the sun was shining right through here, and it looked awesome. It looked like the planet Endor. And there's another spider web. Man, when I'm not kidding about these spider webs. They are everywhere. This is the worst that I've ever had it on a trail. Man. Anyway, I'm gonna keep walking. Actually, let's see what's down right over here. Man, this place is... I love the pine plantations on this trail. As you go from like these normal, what you think of with woods, you know, you got brown leaves all over the ground and a few sticks and stuff everywhere, but then you come into these pine plantations and it's just thick. These beautiful pine trees everywhere. Oh, I love it so much. So yesterday I showed you guys that abandoned oil well. What I neglected to show you, at least I'm pretty sure I neglected to show you, was the working ones that came up after it. And so there's one right behind me. There's another one way down that way. 2 or 3 more down that way on the trail. And when I walked by yesterday, these were not working. They weren't going, they weren't doing anything. They were all stopped. But as I was coming up on them today on the trail, I heard these machines going, and seriously, at first I thought it was an ATV because it was kind of quiet, and those are pretty well known that people use ATVs a lot at Wayne. It wasn't that. Then it started to sound like a helicopter. She had like the whirring sound, so I seriously thought there was a helicopter down here for a little bit. But then as I got closer, I realized where I was, and that these things are just pumping up oil. Yeah, not sure if I showed you guys these or not yesterday, so I figured I'd throw it up here now. And I'm really glad I didn't camp around here because, man, it is loud. Alrighty, so alright, so it's noon, so I've been hiking for an hour and 20 minutes or so, hour and 15. That's really bad with the sun. Lens flare. Talking about J.J. Abrams here. I am ready to get out of the woods. I've got about another 2 hours of hiking in front of me, and I just finished up the last of my water. So hopefully I don't get too thirsty. From what I remember from yesterday, from this point it's mostly downhill and then flat until I get to the car, so it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, I'll keep updating as I can, but I'm gonna enjoy this nice log that somebody left. It's a great seat. So when I talk about there being lots of spiders on the trail, this is what I'm talking about. Let me show you here. I run into this. Let me see if I can get it on the camera. It's really hard to get on the camera. There it is, sort of. You can kind of see it. I run into stuff like this. Now that is across the entire trail. Let me just get rid of him. Been running into that stuff the entire way. Man, it's super annoying. Every little bit just to have spiders in your face or across your chest, across your arms, across your feet. Man, it's the worst that I've ever seen it on a trail. But that's what you gotta do sometimes. Oh man, this is a really cool path right here. I love it. You can almost hardly, barely tell where the trail is. Man, I love it out here. Fall is definitely starting. You can see a few trees that are starting to turn, a few leaves. Some are already falling. If I just look up this way, you'll see some falling. And obviously a lot of this on the ground is from last year still, but man, it's beautiful out here when stuff starts to turn color. By the time that I got out here yesterday, the sun was starting to go down already, and so I didn't get to see a lot of this stuff. You know, it's really different when it's shining in the sun compared to just kind of light outside. The sun is so bright. I love the drop off here is crazy. So if you look, here's the trail. Boom, instant drop off. And I know that is very hard to see. I'm going to try and capture it in with the back camera instead of the front camera. But basically there's just a drop off on the side of the trail that goes down about 45-50 feet. Awesome. So yeah, really hard to capture, but it just drops off. It doesn't look as steep on the video, but it is a lot steeper than it looks. Starting to come down though, so the height is decreasing, which is nice. So this right here, this is why I'm having to call it a 2-day, an overnight trip instead of a 3-day, 2-night. This is a stream bed. It is completely dry. I've never seen it this dry here. Even, heck, when I came in November last year, there was water in here. So, that's why I'm calling it. It really stinks, but if I can't get water, I'm not going to stay out here.